morning we have the privilege of talking with Kelly Esseltine from IPC. Welcome, Kelly. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
So I hear that there's some upcoming changes at IPC, and I thought, what better way than to reach out and have a little chat and find out what's going on. So, Kelly, what is going on at IPC? What can you tell us?
We are very excited to announce the launch of the IPC Care Team. If you didn't have a chance to hear Chris's sermon on Sunday, we're going to give you an opportunity to hear all about the Care Team today.
IPC Care Team. What on earth does that mean, and what is it all about?
It is a recently formed team, a group of people, elders, myself, Pastor Chris, and some other trained members of the team. We're here to care for anybody that's in need, that's experiencing some difficulty.
Kelly, traditionally, I guess at other churches I've attended, and perhaps other churches folks have attended as well, the staff has been called upon to talk to people through times of problems and troubles and distress with different issues and stuff like that. But is this IPC Care Team taking a different tact on that?
Slightly. The staff will still be involved. Pastor Chris is still part of our team, and that who's traditionally called upon when there's a crisis. You call your pastor, and they respond. We were so grateful to have Joyce with us doing pastoral care, and she was a fabulous resource to help getting the team formed and getting together. But we have a large church. We have 350 people that require care, and that's a big task for one person. And it's also not what the Bible teaches. Our early church did not have one pastor that cared for everyone. The people cared for each other, and that's the model that we're switching to. We are developing the team so we can care for one another.
How does that function?
Well, there's several levels of care that are available to the person in crisis or experiencing difficulty. The first level of care would be life groups. If you're part of a life group, that would be the natural resource you would go to first, right? Because you have close relationships with the people in your life group, and so you would go to them first. The other group would be if you're part of a ministry group, such as Sisterhood or Impact, part of the worship team. They function in a very similar fashion as our life groups. And if you're part of one of those ministry groups, again, those would be the people you would turn to first.
It's sort of like the first line of contact, the first points of contact. Sure, it makes absolute sense. Those are the people with whom we generally have the best relationships and the best bond. What does the model look like outside of those groups?
So if there's an issue that's more severe or longer term that the life group isn't able to handle within themselves, the severity of the issue, then there would be a call placed to the care team, and then one of us would respond and reach out to the person that's in need. Now, if you're not in a life group, you obviously can't turn to a life group. So you would turn to the care team. That would be your first point of contact. And from there, we move on to the outer circle, where we have the elders and the pastor, the healing care, professional support, so professional counseling, focus groups, and the Care and Compassion Fund. And so again, we're more removed from the person in need, right? The relationships aren't as strong on the outer edge, but sometimes those are the things that are required, right? And the more severe the issue or the struggle, the wider the ring of care gets.
What you're talking about is really a holistic approach, because you're not just talking about one person being the point of contact for a person who's in the middle of a struggle, or they're challenged by something, or they just have something they need to talk with someone about. Um, so there is I'm hearing in your language that there's a process. It's not just stopping with one person, but there's that person, wider and wider the ripple goes, the level of care. Like, it really sounds like no one's gonna fall between the cracks with this model.
That is the plan. The goal is, the ultimate goal of our team is that every single person of IPC feels loved and cared for.
So you've mentioned life groups, and you've mentioned people that aren't involved in a life group. Obviously, we would want and ask people to be involved in a life group. I recall when I first became involved in a life group myself, how life changing that experience was. Just to be, it's called Impact, and surrounded by a band of brothers, band of men, and that's had a huge impact in my life. So obviously, we would still be wanting to encourage people to do that. But you've talked about people that aren't involved in a life group. Does this model preclude people going directly to staff or going directly to the senior pastor?
Absolutely not. Um, the staff and Pastor Chris are available to everyone. We, yeah, we are a team. We're not even a team. We're a family. We're a church family. And um, if you want or need to speak to Pastor Chris or another member of the staff, you're more than welcome to do that. We are just finding that we're putting just a plan. We have a plan now on how to try to reach out and have a process in place to make it easy for people to access care.
You mentioned that there's been some training for this team. Could you give us a little bit of insight into what that training has looked like?
We've had lots of different training to cover as many aspects as we thought um, we'd come across. So whatever situation, we're trying to be prepared for every situation that we come through, like grief, for example.
I know that we have a document that we refer to called "Leading with Care" at IPC, and within that document, it talks about confidentiality. And I just want to ask a question, because I'm probably not alone in this being one of the first questions that comes to my mind. The wider a circle goes, the potential of a loosening of confidentiality becomes perhaps in some people's concept of that kind of ripple effect. What can you tell us about the confidentiality of the IPC care team?
The confidentiality is an issue that we've discussed extensively and is our highest priority. Um, Whatever issue comes before the care team stays with the care team. Um, the only time that anything would be disclosed is if there's an abusive situation, and by law we are required to report that, just like the schools or any other institution. So if you can be very, very confident that if you are requiring care and you want you want confidentiality, you will receive it. It won't go any further.
That is fantastic because I know that's one of the questions that will just pop into people's minds. Hey, it popped into mine, so if it did with me, it'll be with others as well. How do people access um, this care team?
There are three different ways that you can access care. If you're part of a life group, you're going to go to your life group, and should, as I said, the life group need more support or you need more support, a referral will be made to the care team, and then we will be in contact with you and um, walk alongside you with whatever it is, whatever if issue you're struggling with. The other way is to call the church or email. The emails that come will come directly to me as the coordinator, and I will dispatch a member of the team. And again, we will respond accordingly. The third way is through the prayer team.
Does the prayer and care aspect that you just mentioned, does that have to do with the prayer wall, or is that a different thing, or are they connected in some way?
They are different. You can post a prayer on the prayer wall, and that will go to the prayer team. And um, if you receive an email or a phone call from the prayer team, they will ask you if you would like a visit from someone from the care team. And if you do, then obviously someone will come and be in contact with you.
Wow, this is a really cool model. Um, when when do you intend to launch this, or has it already launched?
We started back, um, actually back in the summer, the elders putting the team together, working through the process. The team itself has been meeting since September, and we were fortunate enough to have Joyce help us with our training. And some of our team were able to do calls with her, and we've been actually quietly working in the background all this time. So, but the official launch was on Sunday. Um, and so we are up and ready and willing to serve.
This sounds like a really neat move to a holistic care approach at church. And I think I'm going to touch base with you in about 6 months to see how it's going. Would that be okay?
That would be great. Um, I do need to make everyone aware that there are opportunities for everyone to be part of the care team. We are going to be starting what we're calling practical needs teams to care for the practical needs in our church. Um, Again, because we have a large church, there's needs like people need rides to doctor's appointments. Sometimes they need a meal because, maybe you've come home with a new baby, and it would be nice to have a couple of meals so you don't have to think while you're trying to adjust, um, to having the baby home. Maybe you need a little light housekeeping. We definitely need people to help form the funeral team. So to be available to help set up and clean up after funerals. Um, so those kinds of things. Because as I said, the goal is that we all feel cared for. And the only way we're all going to feel cared for is if we're all caring for each other and all being involved in whatever way God leads us. Um, so there's going to be in the near future an opportunity for people to join some of these practical needs teams and serve help serve our church.
Absolutely. Well, Kelly, thanks so much for spending time with us today, just talking about just talking about this and bringing us up to speed on some pretty exciting changes that are going on. Thanks for your involvement. Please pass along our thanks to the current team as well. And as they grow, we will continue to pray for you. I'm sure that that would be okay.
Absolutely.
IPC family, we really encourage you to engage with the IPC Care Team, find out what they're all about. We encourage you as well, if you're not already a member of a life group, to get involved. Call the office or reach out to someone at IPC that you may know already. And Kelly, just before we go, is there an email address that people can email? You've referred to it. What is the email address for the IPC Care Team?
It is care team, all small letters, at thrive@ipc.com. We actually have a list of phone numbers and contacts that will be made available through the church office. We're going to get it up on the website through our weekly emails. Life group leaders have this information, staff has it. When we're back in church, we're going to have a bulletin board with the information on it. So people will have um, you'll have lots of opportunities to see the numbers and be able to be in touch when you're in need.
Thanks so much again, and we're looking forward to watching God use this to really speak to and grow the family at IPC. Talk to you later, Kelly.